Boom. All right, everyone. Steve Metrics here of Db8 Sports with yo boy.
DJ Triggs.
And together we are Db8 Sports here on the second to last Sunday before the NFL draft, Triggs. And it is right around the corner. I'm excited for it. I'm not excited that it's in Green Bay, but I am excited for the actual draft.
Wait, why are you not excited that it's in Green Bay?
Because Green Bay is just not going to work, man. I'm telling you, it's just not going to work. It's cool to see the draft nearby, but I'm telling you, man, I've been to a draft in person. You got to have the stuff for passerbyers to enjoy, but then kind of go away and like do something. It's got to have that kind of community to do stuff. And to me, your big time cities like Chicago, New Orleans, Nashville, Philadelphia, somehow Detroit fell into that too. I don't know how they pulled it off, but Detroit is the all-time attendance leader of the NFL drafts. I just feel like when we start to hit the Mississippi River, it gets a little weird. I think Kansas City was a failure. I think Las Vegas was a failure. I think Dallas was an absolute failure. It's just kind of weird when it gets west of the Mississippi. I think it's harder for people to travel, and the venues are just kind of odd. I kind of get the feeling that, to me, Green Bay is going to be similar to the draft that they had in Dallas. That's where it's basically a stadium and not so much beyond that.
Huh. Yeah. I would not have guessed that from you.
That's debate.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. So I'm excited for the next time that I think it's going to come to Chicago soon. I definitely think it's going to go to Philly soon, considering they won a Super Bowl and they're starting to get more popularity nationwide. And I think Tennessee is definitely starting to creep up soon too. I think New Orleans would be a cool venue too. I just don't know where they're going to fall in the time frame.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Segue. Watch this.
Ooh.
Speaking of New Orleans,
okay,
man, what happened to your boy Derek Carr? David Carr. Wow,
yeah,
that was
you going the same route
ago.
as David, man. It's done, man. It is done. That is
I think it might be.
Yeah, it's no debate, man. If he's got shoulder injuries like this, kind of reminds me, and like we saw the story over the last few weeks of Lonzo Ball's like amazing path to coming back to the NBA and how long that takes. Derek Carr is got something really bad with the shoulder. And I think at this point where he is, I mean, he's in this like handful of guys who are just like gripping to dear life to save their careers, whether it's him, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields. I feel like Russell Wilson. Those guys, they're just holding on for dear life. And it's just a matter of time before one of these rookies comes up and just takes a job. It's just the nature of the beast.
And it's so weird because I've been hearing a lot of, the Shedeur Sanders and stuff like that. Like they got Spencer Rattler last year, if I'm not mistaken.
He's a
kind of were, hit or miss on him. So then I started kind of going through some mock drafts, and I'm gonna sound like Mel Kiper Jr. for a second. No, I'm kidding.
I like the guy though. I don't think
I do too. I love the way he talks though, because everything is like drawn out, and you're like, okay, I'm following. And then all of a sudden, like it's very, very fast but drawn out, and you're like, is he talking slow or fast? Because I'm still not keeping up. I don't know.
Absolutely.
But like, and I look at things and I go, okay, the Browns, maybe they need a quarterback. We know the Giants don't need a quarterback anymore, but they could use someone behind, and maybe
they're going to need one.
Have a project behind them.
Yeah.
But why waste a first round pick when you can get an edge rusher and then maybe use a second round pick on a guy? The Patriots don't need a quarterback right now. The Jaguars just paid their guy a year or so ago. They don't need a quarterback. The Raiders, I really hope you guys pick Ashton Genty. I'm like crossed fingers because I think that'd be dope.
I hear that from so many people and I hate it.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why do we hate it?
Because I look at the guy and I know everyone's gung ho about this guy, but I'm telling you, he is not going to. I really see that at the end of the day. I just don't see this guy as really going to make it in the NFL. I could be totally wrong, but from the stuff I see from him, this to me is a downgrade from Josh Jacobs, essentially.
Well, yeah, I agree.
It's a clear downgrade. So I'm not going down the running back route when I can get multiple running backs who are all very similar to guys like Ashton Genty, when you only get a few cracks at these quarterbacks. And to be fair, like if I don't get any of these quarterbacks, then I can move on. Then I can play with the running backs.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Like, I'm just excited because the running back's going to go in the top 10. And I'll take a stab at Mel Kiper. He always talked about you're not supposed to take a running back in the first round. But now he's like, wait a minute. I never said that. It's just
he did
the way it is. And like, it's so funny because he's like backtracking a little bit, but he's like, if there's a guy out there that you want, then you take him. And I was like,
yes.
Okay, Mel Kiper, I will back away from you. I get it. But you guys went out and got Geno Smith and everyone's excited, all that good stuff. So like then you look at it and you got the Jets next. They're really into their guy Fields. They're like, this is our dude. He's taking shots at media already. Like it's just a wild west over there.
Is there a tight end that could work out in the top for the Jets?
Possibly, because I know they got rid of our boy.
Yeah, your boy Tyler Conklin's gone.
And then the Panthers, they started to look a little better at the end of the season. So
it's a sneaky good team.
Yeah, and that South, I said this last year. The South is open. If the Panthers would have won a couple games at the end, they would have been in.
They would have been in, man. Yes, I'm so like I have zero regrets on the fact that I bet like $20 on that team to like win that division and win Coach of the Year. I would have made like at least over $1,000 on that bet, and I have no qualms on that at all.
And it's not a bad pick this year either. Like
they are one team that I will build a parlay on to win the NFC South.
Most definitely.
Yep.
So then, like I said, the next team in line that needs a quarterback is number 9 and the Saints. So Shedeur Sanders might fall all the way to 9.
That's a great point. That's an absolute great point.
And we talked about this a little bit ago. Like, okay, if he makes that fall, because you remember I was talking about the Raiders. If he made that fall, why wouldn't the Raiders? And then you got Geno Smith and all that.
Yeah.
But you get a crack at a quarterback that could be a stud. Maybe. Again, maybe. At 9, why wouldn't you take a swing at it? Because now, the only thing I can hear and think about when you look through the future, so 10 is the Bears, 11's the 49ers, Cowboys, Dolphins, Colts, Falcons, Cardinals, Bengals, Seahawks, Buccaneers, Broncos, Steelers, Chargers. Wait a minute. Did you hear that? Steelers at 21. Does he fall that far? And are the Steelers? I don't think so. But all those other teams that I named in between from 9 to 21 all have a quarterback. Maybe not the Indianapolis Colts, but they seem like they're going to go with Richardson and just kind of take their time with him. But from
Daniel
9
Jones
to 21, Daniel Jones is there too. From 9 to 21, there's no quarterback needed teams. So if the Saints don't take him and you're the Steelers, do you trade up and try to grab a guy like Shedeur Sanders? Like, or do you wait and you see what happens and he falls to 21 and then the Steelers go, now we can get the guy that we wanted the entire time and nobody knows?
Yeah, I think you wait if you're the Steelers, or you have your contingency plan built to jump the Saints.
Yep.
You jump the Saints. And I do feel that this is definitely a draft. I was hearing about it last year, but I never saw it happen because there were so many really good quarterbacks that things just kind of fell into place. And especially your top 3 was like staunch. Like none of those 3 were willing to budge. Whereas this year you have you have legit uncertainty with the quality of these quarterbacks that teams are not. Some teams are willing to take the risk because they're put in a corner essentially. But now, like, you have some teams that aren't in a corner and they're not going to feel that risky. But if you're a team like the Saints, the Raiders, or the Steelers, I think you're willing to trade up, but you're not willing to trade too much to go too far up. That's where
Right.
it gets weird. So I think these teams are going to have contingency plans and plans upon plans. And, teams are going to start running through like legit mocks, doing all sorts of jank stuff to have things simulated, all sorts of simulations working in their case to really get under the gun and get prepped for weird scenarios. That those contingency plans are going to be built on. If a certain situation shows up, then you trade up. If not, then I think you hold the fort and you stay where you're at and you figure it out. The weird ones in this we know are the Giants and the Rams, probably moving back a few times.
Yep. So I'm going to put you in the Raiders driver's seat right now.
Yep.
I'm the Steelers. I come to you and I go, hey, I'll give you my number 1 at pick 21, and I'll give you a third and maybe a third next season to move up to 6. Do you say no?
A third. I get the 1 this year, and I get
and 2 thirds.
Third. And
2 thirds.
2 thirds, essentially. It's close. It's really close. And for us, like, I think that's where it comes down to, like, I gotta have Pete Carroll, Tom Brady, and Chip Kelly all on the same page because we ride or die. We will all ride this out through probably almost the next half decade, or we're going to be out quick. And I don't think that that's a scenario that you want to really rush. And this is one of those weird contingency plans. I feel like that's a contingency plan that I'm going to build with another team now. If these other, if it's the Saints, Raiders, Saints, Steelers, Raiders, that gets really mucky. But that would allow the Steelers to jump the Saints. Now, we might shut it down. We might say, no, like, we do not want to deal with the Steelers because the Steelers have the same mindset of looking at a future quarterback like we are. The Steelers, basically, I'm pretty sure that their quarterback will be Aaron Rodgers. I'm pretty sure that's the way this is going to play out. This is the only thing that makes sense at this point. It's the only team that hasn't filled their hole at quarterback. So they will have Aaron Rodgers, and they're definitely going to have to pair him with a younger player, a younger quarterback prospect. I've been hearing Jaden Milroe associated with Pittsburgh as well. But if I'm getting dealt that kind of deal, if I'm Chip Kelly, I personally would say no because I would roll the dice with Shedeur because there's that connection with Tom Brady, because the guy's completed like 75% of his passes with no offensive line and virtually no run game. Welcome to the NFL. That's the NFL. I want to see a quarterback that has success, who doesn't have a great offensive line in front of him and doesn't have great targets to throw to and doesn't have all this great talent surrounding him, to be honest. I think, to me, that speaks volumes of Shedeur being a success. I kind of see that in Cam Ward as well. I mean, you would see slightly less of that in Quinn Ewers and Jaden Milroe. But I feel like Shedeur and Cam Ward, to me, are going to be successes more likely than Milroe or Ewers, but still possible.
Right. And I'm just looking off of grades, that they've given some of these players. Shedeur, Jackson Dart, and Tyler Show, if I'm saying his name correctly, out of Louisville, all are pretty close in the same grade category. Shadeur's got a 90, and Show has an 87. Dart has an 88. Shador, they're saying is a top 15 talent, and Show is 38.
Yeah.
So, like, when you look at that, you're looking at mid first, early second, and a team like the Raiders, maybe you take a flyer on a Jalen Milroe or a Quinn Ewers to sit behind Geno Smith, and maybe you really like
That's the
one of
plan.
these guys, and you go, "Hey, we'll let you sit for a little bit. Geno's here for a couple years. We got him locked in. He can teach you a lot of stuff because Geno also sat behind a guy and he had to take his time. He could teach you all the ropes. And guess what? Geno became a starter and a playoff quarterback and a Pro Bowl quarterback. You
Yeah.
can learn behind this guy. There's
Yep.
no pressure. Plus, we got Tom Brady back here and Chip Kelly. These guys will show you how to throw a ball, you know?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's why I'm like, I like the idea of maybe you guys going for uh, a running back or maybe a wide receiver or something like that, like McMillan out of Arizona. Like that he seems like he's going to be a stud.
Yeah.
I've seen things from like Matthew Golden and Jaden Higgins. Like you can get one of these stud wide receivers, pair him up with a Geno Smith and a Quinn Ewers or a McMillan later on,
Yeah.
Milroe later on, and now you have an offense that's ready to go. Plus, if you do trade back and you get a first round pick and another second or a third or something like that from a Pittsburgh, now you can even stack up more players on top of that. Like, yeah, everyone's big on Genty, but like Omari and Hampton, the dude's got a top 15 grade too from North Carolina. So
Yes.
you
Yes.
can get
That's
that
very
guy
good.
late in that first round with that 21st pick. Like that might be the couple of guys from Ohio State. I think one of them's name is Henderson, but
Yeah. Travion
they have
Henderson's nuts.
and that guy, he's got a second round grade. Well, he's got a 30, his rank is 31st.
That's
Like,
what we want
so
because Chip Kelly wants his guy. I guarantee you that.
right. So maybe you do trade back and at 21 you pick Henderson, or you get that extra second round pick and then you pick Henderson. Like there's a lot of things the Raiders can do. They can move
Yeah.
around. Now you get a wide receiver and a running back in those first two picks. Your offense is studly.
So this is where, like, I mean, partly we still have guys who are free agents who are out there,
Yep.
and there is the draft. I still stick to my guns. My dream scenario is we stay put where we're at. Pick 6, if we can get Shadur, I'd love it. Pick 6, I want that. And round 2, I want Travion Henderson. And then going back to free agency, you need a big stud wide receiver outside, a guy who had legit success, who is really solid. And it is really bizarre that he's not on a team right now. I would absolutely, right after that, what we're talking the second night, maybe even round 2, man, I'd pick up that phone as quick as I could and sign Nick Westbrook at Kine. That's
Okay.
my dream scenario right there.
That could work. And it's so crazy to me. Like I'm clicking through a lot of the wide receivers on the list, and like it literally from like what's his name? Trey Harris out of Ole Miss, who's got a late second round grade. The dude is 6'2". Everyone else is like a 5'10", 5'11" slot guy until you get to Savion Williams from TCU. He's 6'4", 222. You can get that guy in
Oh,
the third and fourth round.
oh
I'm
yeah.
like, why not look for a receiver that's a big body and you can just put him anywhere?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's interesting. You say that there's a lot of undersized wideouts.
yeah, like so McMillan, he's 6'4". He's gonna be the stud, right?
Yeah, he's
Matthew
good.
Golden, 5'11". Jaden Higgins is 6'4". Um, I'm not even gonna try to say a Mecca from Ohio State is 6 foot. And then I said Trey Harris, but you got Burden, 6 foot, Noel, 5'10", Royal, 6 foot, Bond, 5'11", Jalen Lane, 5'10".
Yep.
Uh, let's see, Kyle Williams, 5'11". There's a lot of names on here I'm not even going to try to pronounce, but like a Colorado State guy, he's 6'3", but I'm like, I'm not really looking for a Colorado State guy, no offense. Guy from Miami is 5'10". Tez Johnson from Oregon is 5'10". Everyone loves that guy, by the way. Holy cow. Daquan Felton is 6'5" from Virginia Tech.
Yes, I will play with that.
Right.
Absolutely.
And he looks like he's like a fifth round grade. Like,
dang.
I'll take a stab at a 6'5" guy in the fifth or fourth round. Like, why not?
Yeah, I'd rather roll the dice. Well, here's the thing, though. I'll tell you this. I mean, I know people want to basically say day 3 guys are like scrubs, and I think that's a load of bull. But I'll be honest. If you really look at like quality offensive skill players, to be honest, when you get to guys who are like round 4, like round 3, round 4, those guys are actually like really good, man. Like, so your round 3, round 4 offensive skill set players that aren't offensive linemen or defensive players, they gotta be good, man. Like your third and fourth round picks cannot be scrubs. They have to hit.
Right. And that's the problem is a lot of teams, they look at those guys and those are the good picks. I feel like the first and second round is usually potential, like hype and potential.
Yes.
Yeah, every once in a while it's a stud, but it's like, oh man, this guy better hit or I'm gonna lose my job. Third and fourth round is where you get your guys. Like those are the starters.
Yeah, they're absolutely the guys that you need. I mean, I think it's more important to get like offensive linemen and pass rusher right in the first few rounds. But like rounds 3 and round 4, they got to be like some pretty darn good running backs and wide receivers, I think.
Yep, I agree. Like I was actually just looking at this article the other day, and I just popped it up here. Like they were talking about Brian Gutekunst here in Green Bay, his draft history. So he came here and no, I don't think so at all. Oh, really? See that? Let me run it through for you. So 2018 is when he got here. So 6 years ago, right?
Sure.
So he had 11 picks. That first year he got Jair Alexander, and then like MVS is on that list.
I like
Equinemius. Well, he's not here.
I know, I get it. But for that stretch, all right, okay.
Like Josh Jackson's, Jamon Moore. The other guy that is actually good in this draft was the punter he got in the 5th round, J.K. Scott.
Yeah.
And we don't even have him anymore.
Yeah.
Then 2019, we got Rashawn Gary, who everyone is like, oh, he was going to be great. We gave him all that money, and he's kind of trash, to be honest. Darnell Savage, not here.
But he was really good, though.
He was solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah,
it was one of those like, okay, if we lose him, cool. If we don't, and we lost him and no one cared, you know? Yeah. Elton Jenkins, the lineman, like we've moved him all over the line. We got him in the 2nd round. Great. Nice. Besides that draft, nothing. Kingsley Kiki, he's a defensive lineman. He's a rotational guy. He's been around for a little bit. 2020, we got Jordan Love and A.J. Dillon. Everybody else, gone. And A.J. Dillon just left too. But I can't remember where he went. Maybe out east or something.
Okay.
2021, our 1st round pick was Eric Stokes. Everyone hates him. Josh Meyer was our center. He was around for a little bit. Gone. Yeah. We blew it on another receiver in Amari Rogers. Gone. TJ Slayton in the 5th round. 6th round, we got Isaiah McDuffie. Those are good rotational pieces on the defensive end.
Yep.
Besides that, everyone's horrible. 1st round pick, 2022, Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt. Basically, like meh, wastes of 1st round picks.
Yeah.
4th round, we got Zach Tom, who is now a starting lineman for us and a perennial Pro Bowler, and Romeo Dobbs. But 4th round picks, solid. Sean Ryan, we got in the 3rd round. Christian Watson, we got in the 2nd round. This is probably his best draft 3 years ago
Yeah.
because we also got Rasheed Walker, who's an offensive lineman. He's been starting a little bit.
Yeah.
But 2023, Lucas Van Ness in the 1st round, basically a waste of a pick. Like, he was a project, and we got him at 13. And it's like, why are you taking a project linebacker at 13? Let's see. And then we got Tucker.
2024 is pretty good.
2023, we got Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, Jaden Reed, Dontavion Wicks.
Yes.
But everyone else was god awful.
But if you can hit like at least 3 of the 7 guys you draft,
we spent 13 picks.
Oh, 13 picks, then you got to hit at least 5 of those.
Yeah, we didn't, because our 1st round pick was horrible. And to be honest, Luke Musgrave, we drafted him before Tucker Kraft.
You did. Yep, and he's a bust.
He's kind of a bust, yeah.
He is.
But Jaden Reed, he hasn't. Yeah. He was really good that 1st year. Last year, he basically was just the same guy. So like, he hasn't gotten any better. Which we were looking for a receiver last year when Watson went down, and it's like none of those receivers got any better.
Man, Jaden Reed is a guy that I regret not having last year, but he's a guy that I will in fantasy try to make a play to get.
I'm crossing fingers. I
think he is by far outright your best receiver.
Oh, and
not even close.
To
me, he is a new age Debo Samuel. I think the sky's the limit on Jaden Reed.
I'm gonna be honest though. The best receiver is Tucker Kraft by far.
Oh yeah, he's an elite tight end. Elite.
Yeah,
he's George Kittle.
And if they start running 12 personnel with him and Musgrave, where Musgrave can go out there and block, and Kraft can just focus on catching the football.
Yeah.
He could be like super elite in fantasy.
And then that makes Jaden Reed even better is with more 12 personnel.
Yep. And then like literally, I mean, Sean Clifford, Dontavion Wicks, Carl Brooks, Anders Carlson, your boy, your guy's brother, Lou Nichols, Anthony Johnson, Grant DeBoe, like, dude, 13 picks. Like, that was horrible. And then this past year, Jordan Morgan in the 1st round. He was kind of a bust at line. Didn't start. Like, they put him in there a couple of times, and he looked like he doesn't have a job now. They literally went out and overpaid on a guard to take his job because he was a tackle in college at Arizona. They moved him to guard, and he's basically a bum. Now, the 2 guys that I did like from this past draft were Edgerrin Cooper out of Texas A&M and Javon Bullard from Georgia. Besides that, Marshawn Lloyd from USC, he was hurt the whole season. Tyron Hopper, kind of a bum. Oh, Evan Williams from Oregon. I liked him too. So like we helped our secondary and our linebackers, but like everybody else in those 11 picks, kind of bummy. Kind of bummy. I feel like we haven't hit in the 1st round like ever.
Yeah, it can it can be hard like that at times. I mean, for as long as I've been a Raider fan, we've been kind of hit and miss on 1st round picks. We've had some success. I mean, definitely Colton Miller is the one that stands out, but he definitely has been a project at times too. But we've kind of missed on some guys. The one guy too that we drafted kind of recently that I liked that is on, I want to say San Francisco, I think, is Ceylon Farrell. He was a guy that people wanted to like kind of cast off as like just a bust out of the gates as a pick. But I mean, I watched Farrell play, man. I like him. He wasn't all that great with us, but he's not a guy that I would just say was like outright bust because Clemson had all these talents playing for them at the time. So I wasn't a fan of that, but now we have like Brock Bowers. That guy is just a straight up bona fide elite tight end. He's probably the best tight end in the NFL now.
Yeah.
After just a rookie season. So he's great. I mean, I love the Detroit Lions tight end as well. That guy's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, basically between Bowers, the Detroit tight end, and Tucker Kraft, I think those are some real solid tight ends that you can kind of play with in fantasy, see where they shake out, and they're going to be really fun guys to work with. But yeah, I mean, I feel like with my Raiders, we definitely have a 50-50 success rate on first round picks. I know we've had an edge rusher from Texas A&M that wasn't as great as we thought he would be. I saw his tape, man. I thought the guy was an animal. But yeah, since joining the Raiders, I mean, he did not really work out opposite Max Crosby. And I mean, it's why we had to pay as much as we did for the guy from Miami. But yeah, it is what it is. It's kind of hard to get two really good guys on opposite ends. I would love to get another one, but man, it's hard to get edge rushers, and they're absolutely crucial to get right when setting up your defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of who's the guy? Tyree Wilson was a first round
Yeah,
pick for you guys,
yeah, he
and that
might
was
be a bust.
yeah. I do like I'm going through your draft history now. So I'm gonna go with 2013. You got Michael Meyer out there, Byron Young, the defensive tackle was pretty solid. But
Yep,
again, second and third round picks. Trey Tucker, third round pick.
I like
Aiden
him.
O'Connell was a starter for you, fourth round pick.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a fair fourth round pick. Maybe he should have been
yeah,
fifth round, but again, I would have taken Bo Milton, but that's me.
yeah. I I, I agree.
Yeah,
But you got like 2022, you didn't even have a first or a second round pick, but you got Dylan Parham, the offensive lineman,
yep.
nice rotational piece. Fourth round pick, you got Zamir White, which not bad for fourth round. Not
Yeah,
bad for fourth round.
fourth round solid.
Yeah,
Yeah, upset that he didn't develop into what we were betting on, but that's okay.
but hey, fourth round to get a guy that started a little bit for you until
We
you
did.
got somebody. And when Josh Jacobs needed a spell, you had a guy
Yep.
and now he's a rotational piece and running around there. Alex Leatherwood, I don't know that name. First
Uh,
round pick out of Alabama,
yeah,
lineman.
he would. Yeah, total bust actually. Complete bust. He was a guy that um people were calling out as a bust out of the gate, and we ended up. This would have been the end of Josh McDaniels' tenure. Going into that season, we just flat out released him. Just a complete scrub. I think he might have found his way to the Patriots at some point, but
Okay.
just a complete scrub for us. And that was a first round pick that didn't even last like 3 seasons.
Right. I was going to say that's not even 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Trevor Morig, Malcolm
Uh,
Koontz.
yeah. Trevor Morig, I think we might have actually just released for free agency, but he's a great defensive player.
And then I mean, I'm just going to list this one. It's got some Packer ties. Fifth
Sure.
round pick, Nate Hobbs.
Yeah, Nate Hobbs. Again, for me, I saw good things out of Hobbs. I like him. He's a guy that I would rather not lose, but it is what it is. I mean, I know you're not as ecstatic about him and liked him as much as I did. But we'll see how it works out for
It,
you. I
it's the
liked what I saw when
price,
he worked for us.
the price tag.
The
That's what
price,
got me.
yes,
It's
the
like,
price is bad. Yep, you're right.
because what if I've heard there's been some talks with Jair about staying. So, like, if he
Sure.
stays, then it's like, oh, did we really need to spend that much? Like, that's how I feel about the offensive lineman, too, is like, why did
But
we pay that much money?
But if there's a way to get Jair to like move and play multiple positions, I'd be open to that, man. I think Jair is super talented. I know he's been really beat up, but man, I when Jair is on the field, I like it.
Oh, I
I like
agree.
it.
But then they moved Keyshawn Nixon, our return guy, who is also like our number one corner now, or
Nice.
even number two.
Yeah.
They went out and got Miko Hardman so he could run the returns, so Nixon could
Oh, play more
not.
permanent
Yeah,
defense.
yep.
Okay, I like that.
So
That's cool.
so it tells me that maybe Jair is out the way. So I'm like, okay, I'll hold on Nate Hobbs until we get that real. But then what if they
Yeah.
draft a corner? And like I'm just sitting here going, man, what are we going to draft now? We have to draft a receiver to go back to the draft. We have to draft a receiver. I'll be so upset. Like I might flip the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah. I mean, if you draft a receiver, it needs to be a big guy. Green Bay needs size.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
like Vegas needs size. But when it comes to the draft, I think you're going to see movement on some players as well. And
Yep.
Jair is a guy who could easily get dealt to a team for compensation. I think
Yep.
that would work out really well, actually, as well. So some of these players, some of these teams are keeping these guys with their cards close to their chest because they know that they're going to pull off a trade to gain leverage to move in various directions. Jair is the one to me that is most relevant in my mind because I think it's obvious to move off him, and it's obvious the player has excellent value out there.
Right. And I mean, if we can move him for an edge rusher, it'd be great because that's kind of what we need.
But it's hard to get edge rushers right, man. Like if you
Yeah.
don't nail them in first round, you
No, no.
almost don't.
No, I mean like a Trey Hendrickson, like a guy that wants to be moved or wants money, like something like that. I know he
Yes,
got his
he's the other one. He is going to be moved. Like
yeah, like
their salary cap in Cincinnati is a mess.
if we could just swap disgruntled guys, I'd be in.
Yeah.
But
Any other like talks about? Is there any whispers of Trey showing up to anyone? Because I think he is absolutely going to wind up on another team via the
yeah,
draft day. Like the whole
yep,
draft weekend, Trey Hendrickson is going to move to another team, and it's a shame, man. To me, it's like it'd be like as if my Raiders drafted Max Crosby and then couldn't reach a monetarily deal, and then you're ending up having to unload that excellent talent. And I just hate what's going on to him. And I know Cincinnati fans are feeling the same way. It
yeah,
sucks. He led the league in sacks. He might be the best defensive player from last season.
yeah. But at the same time, they went offensively. They went and paid guys on offense, the Burrows, the double headed at receiver. Remember,
Yep.
Joe Mixon was a guy that they didn't keep hold of, and he's a top 10, top 15 back in the league. So
Yeah.
like
And
when you
this is
go
a team
offense,
that passed on Penei Sewell,
yep,
who will be a Hall of Fame lineman. And if
yep,
they would have started to build that fort and fortify their offensive line, you would have had Penei Sewell. You probably would have built up the O-line. And I'll be honest, I think Joe Burrow can throw to any wide receiver and make them good.
yep,
Like,
yep.
come on, man. Like, bank on what you got. You know you have a generational talent in Joe Burrow, but you are weakening the rest of that team when Cincinnati should be. I mean, this team should be playing in more than just one Super Bowl in the handful of years that we've seen them with Burrow.
And to be honest, they were basically an offensive line away from winning the Super Bowl.
Yes, they were. They really were, man. And that's what's held up Joe Mixon for pretty much the majority of his career is not having that. And granted, it's gotten a little bit better with the run blocking in Houston. Granted, they can't pass block protect as much. But man, with him having a great offensive line, the sky could have been the limit on Joe Mixon.
Right. So speaking of receivers, though, let's get back to your Raiders draft because
Okay,
this is where it gets disappointing to me. 2020,
sure.
guy that should not be named, Henry Ruggs, first
Yeah,
round pick.
that's on
Uh,
him.
Lynn Bowden, Brian Edwards, all receivers. You
Edwards was
had
okay. I liked Edwards. It may not have worked out to be that great, but he was good. But that Lynn Bowden, that's a nobody.
Damon Arnett was a defensive back, first round
Oh,
pick.
he's a guy who was friends with Henry Ruggs, and when Ruggs was getting more sentencing, Damon Arnett just went off the deep end, and he was a guy that actually played college with. I'm blanking on the name, but Arnett was the number 2 corner when what's his name? This guy blew out his knee. I think he came back to the Lions or the Eagles, I want to say, and really, really good corner. But Damon Arnett was the number 2, kind of more of a nickel corner. but Arnett was just a head case. And to be honest, he really wasn't good. He would play the rush harder than actually playing out receivers. And like, that's your job.
Let me know if any of these guys hit. Tanner
Yeah.
Muse,
No.
John Simpson, guard Clemson.
No.
Mick Robertson.
Amik Robertson, isn't he? No, I don't think he hit. Never mind.
So that year, you guys had 2 firsts, 3 thirds, and 2 fourths. Nothing else.
Was that a John Gruden year?
It was 2020.
Yeah, that's a John Gruden year. I remember that.
Like,
that year was a complete bust. That was the year that we should have drafted Jaden. Holy smokes, I'm blanking on his name. Quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts. We had that was the draft to draft Jalen Hurts, and we had everything lined up to do it. That was just a disaster by Gruden.
Yeah, I mean, wow, you had
just a disaster.
I mean, what is this? 2, 5. You had 7 in the top 139.
That whole draft set us back years. To be honest.
I agree because none of those guys hit.
None. No. That draft was an utter disaster. And I was so upset to start to see that like Jalen Hurts was starting to like really become something with Philadelphia, because I knew that would have been a guy that we really could have been the next generation of wave of talent. This would have been pre-Jordan Love, pre-Jaden Daniels, pre-Caleb Williams, all that stuff. Jalen Hurts was showing that, man. And it was clear as day that it was obvious with having so many high picks that one of those picks needed to be made on him. And instead you grab garbage Damon Arnett.
Or any quarterback in that. Like, I mean, you could have just took a swing at a quarterback. It would have helped at least something.
Yeah.
But 2019, I want to say this will be maybe the last one. 2019 is probably by far the best Raiders draft I've seen. You got Farrell at 4, right?
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs first round at 24.
Yep.
Solid. Jonathan Abram 27. Solid. Trayvon Mullen, I don't know that name.
Yeah, he's a guy who played in the secondary. He might still be on the team. He was solid.
Solid. Max Crosby in the 4th round.
Bananas.
All around.
Pass rusher in the 4th round to hit on it is sick.
Yeah, I mean, Eastern Michigan. I assumed he probably just fell because it's Eastern Michigan, probably.
There's a guy like that who was drafted like a year or so ago by Tampa Bay. I think his name is like Jose 86 or something like that. Like that's his Twitter handle. But like he's a guy who's also from Eastern Michigan on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that is an edge rusher and idolizes Max Crosby. And like, man, he's a guy I'm hoping pans out for the Buccaneers.
Isaiah Johnson from 4th round.
Yeah,
Foster Moreau.
Yeah, Foster Moreau solid and really paired up well with Derek Carr in New Orleans for sure.
Solid. My favorite pick of this whole draft, 5th round, Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, Hunter Renfrow, like awesome guy.
Dude.
I think he got really beat up towards the end of his rookie contract, and I think that's the end of his NFL career. Which
is, totally understandable. He was catching a lot of balls for you guys just getting pounded. So like
he got destroyed.
Bad throws across the middle, but he would catch it. Like Hunter Renfrow was going to catch it.
Yeah, and then, it was 3rd and Renfrow, man.
But like think about that. You got Renfrow, Max Crosby, and Josh Jacobs all in the same draft. Like
totally.
That's solid.
Yeah. That 2019 draft is bananas. It's what has allowed our team to start to stabilize even to today is the build from that draft. But then, like you said, the year after set us back.
So bad. And it's so crazy. Like you had that many firsts, that many thirds, and that many. And it's like, dude, really? This is the best we got?
Yeah. And to me, that just showed where like the arrogance of Gruden is what held us back. And I always saw it. And like people didn't really want to talk about it. And this is before the whole controversy, the whole emails and that stuff, which is a mess and awful before that came to light. If we're just talking just straight football, I really don't like this. And to be honest, it reminded me too of like kind of what you heard with like Mike Sherman back when he was coaching Green Bay, how he was basically a de facto GM as well as a head coach, and why Sherman went on to do that at Texas A&M as well. I don't like seeing guys like that, especially when you have a talented football like-minded individual in Mike Mayock that you could really build some great stuff with. Mayock knows the drafts in and out, like super
Yeah.
cool guy. I'd love to see him come back to the fold, but it's that amount of power that Gruden had, and then to eventually find out too that this guy said no to both Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski from joining the Raiders at the time that they joined the Buccaneers, is to me a real ego check, and it tells me that at the end of the day, his ego is way too inflated. And it also told me too that when it came to like calling plays throughout the game, I just didn't like the way it worked. To me, that chemistry between Gruden and Derek Carr was just garbage. I could see it from the get-go. As much as I like the swagger of Gruden, just the way that he goes about building the team and doing all sorts of stuff, that's to me the stuff that really bit me the wrong way.
Solid. Yeah. I mean, like I'm like excited about the draft, but I'm like also not excited. Like it's weird for me this year. I don't know. Like
Oh,
I want
I'm
so
going to
many
be at a
trades to
casino for
happen.
the draft. I'm like, hey, maybe not be in Green Bay, but man, if you can be at a sports book or a casino for the first 2 nights of the draft, like that's bananas. That's a venue. Like that's how you really can enjoy a draft, is being around like-minded individuals. You have that energy going around. There's stuff to do because it's a casino. So that's fun. But man, like that's the cool energy. And like those are the venues that I really hope the NFL goes to. I'll put this out to you too. Like, I really hope too at some point the NFL draft chooses interesting venues that are not necessarily tied to NFL cities. I don't know which NFL or which cities kind of come to mind. They're probably going to go international at some point. I see that happening. But it would be cool that if there's like a certain city that stands out just for its uniqueness and having something cool about it, that it works out. Man, I gotta think about those cities. Like maybe some of them are small, maybe not, but I don't know. I just feel like since the NFL has brought in things outdoors, that it's really opened up things from being just in that Roosevelt Theater in downtown Chicago. I think really opening things up outside really allows you to explore more options and makes it fun, because your first 2 nights of the draft, let's be honest, they're outdoor, they're at night. There's only a few rounds, and then day 3 is like during the day, and it's like everyone wants to go home. It's kind of weird. That's what it felt like from when I was at the draft in Chicago during the Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Ezekiel Elliott, Joey Bosa draft. Really good draft, actually. But you want to see something cool with a venue. I hope it works for Green Bay, but it's something that for me, looking at the experience, kind of what I know, I would hold back. I'm personally holding back my expectations for that draft. I hope I'm wrong. We'll see.
Hey, there's a lot of weird expectations with this draft. I mean, think about it. We have a offense and defensive player in Travis Hunter. Penn State might have 2 guys in the top 5.
Yep.
Like it's gonna be bananas. Like the
Right.
Ashton Dempsey could be a top 5 pick. Like
Right.
quarterbacks aren't close. They're not good, is what they're being
Yeah.
told. Like I don't know. It's bananas.
What about like even too like having it at some of these interesting almost college venues for like certain picks that we know there's more vibe about? Like maybe
Yeah.
this would be a good year to have the draft in Denver or Boulder per se. What's to say you don't have it at like Death Valley and LSU because you're always going to have solid LSU talent. I
Happy
think,
Valley.
yeah, Happy Valley, Penn State. Like there's really great college cities across this nation that I think you can really generate that buzz utilizing really cool college venues. I've heard like Appalachian State, like I don't even know exact. I think that's North Carolina, but like really cool, fun venues like that would be kind of unique. Where it's like, man, you got this unique experience. You're in a college town. You got a lot of hype. Granted, the travel is all matters. Like we know Green Bay is going to has that difficulty dealing with that. But man, like I think there's real opportunity there that we know Kansas City was kind of a test of that to a degree, but Green Bay is going to be a true test. Green Bay is a legit small town that you're going to see how does this work out. I think Madison would be a fantastic venue for an NFL draft, to be honest, because Madison has so much going down in its downtown area that it's very walkable. It's a cool city. It's unique. Really nice scenery kind of going on. I think Madison would be a great venue if they were to work that out somehow, some way. So maybe the college route might be a way for them to explore new cities moving forward.
That's actually not a bad idea because Colorado would have been the big place to go. You got
Bingo.
Coach Prime out there and his boy and Hunter, and like it would have probably exploded the whole like state of Colorado.
Yes, yeah. Colorado would that would have been the monstrous draft where like I think you hope that if they explore this that maybe the NFL starts to puppeteer and try to think years out from like, hey, we know this is coming. Like you definitely knew Shadur Sanders and holy smokes, blanking on his name. But like
Travis Hunter.
Yeah, Travis Hunter. You know that those two guys are coming in this draft. So like try to get ready. And we know Green Bay was basically called out 2 years ago that they knew that they could have gone to Boulder, Colorado, or at least Denver for this draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, but hey, at the same time, who knows? We might show up in Green Bay, and
Exactly.
you never know.
Exactly. My theory to this point has been basically every draft that's been west of the Mississippi to me has failed. So that means Dallas, Vegas, Kansas City. All three have failed. Everything that's been east of the Mississippi, Chicago, Philly, Nashville, and Detroit, and Chicago twice, essentially, those have all been successes. So now this Green Bay draft is east of the Mississippi. That should be a success.
You never know. I mean, the last time Green Bay had it was actually, people don't know this, but I did some research. 1940.
Interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, the one thing that I really like that we saw a little bit in our lifetime was the oh man, what was it? It was like the cheese league for like the NFL preseason where you had various teams. I know the New Orleans Saints were a team that really liked to have their preseason in Wisconsin. I really did like that. That kind of like venue of having like small community colleges in Wisconsin hosting various NFL teams works out really nice. And I know some of these coaches that I've heard get interviewed said the benefit of actually being at a small university for your training camp and then having other NFL teams nearby actually worked out really well.
Solid. Would not have known that. But break this down here. So the 1940 draft was actually done in 39. It was December 9th. It was the 5th NFL draft ever. It was at the Schroeder Hotel, now the Hilton in Milwaukee. So technically it was Milwaukee, but it started at 2 p.m. and it was done in a few hours.
Interesting. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that could do it. I mean, I don't know when he was drafted, but to be honest, I blanked. I just don't remember the guy's name. But I know the training facility for the Green Bay Packers is named after a wide receiver that is a Hall of Fame wide receiver from way back in the day. And his tape, that guy flat out could play today. Like that guy is like the next Jordy Nelson, Cooper Kupp. And to be honest, this guy is like better than pretty much all those guys. His records still stand to this day. Yeah. We got we got to dig up this guy, but I'm telling you, man, like you look at this guy on tape, and I know it was for the times you're playing against a bunch of blue collar workers, but no, this guy is different, man. This guy's a legit pro. Like this guy would have, if he would have played in 2020, he would
Wait,
have been. I mean, we're talking like a top 10 fantasy football player by far.
are you talking? Wait, you said Packers receiver?
Yes,
Don
yes.
Hudson.
Don Hudson,
Yeah,
by far the best Green Bay Packer receiver possibly
dude.
ever.
Oh my gosh, I love that you say that because
Yeah,
I literally was just looking at his stats the other day, and they're
scary.
almost ridiculous.
Oh
Like
yeah, oh
their
yeah,
stats from now, but they were like then. He
yeah,
literally had more receiving yards than half of the teams in the league.
yeah. And I kid you, man. Like look at the tape, and like this guy, like I kid you not, it's almost like the camera can't keep up with him with how fast he is. He reminds me of almost like the Cook brothers, how like when the Cook brothers break an offensive line and they just can't be caught. He kind of reminds me of almost maybe that Detroit wide receiver that they got, not Monra St. Brown, but the other guy that's like just a speed demon from Alabama. Kind of
Yeah,
reminds me of that. Just scary fast. This guy's lengthy, so this guy had the size and speed. It's basically like if MVS would have become this superstar. That's exactly what the body type of this guy is. This guy's tall, fast, strong. Don Hudson is the greatest Green Bay Packer receiver ever. And granted, Devontae Adams is dope, but Don Hudson is just like otherworldly, man. Like it's a bummer we never saw him in our lifetime, but like, yeah, the tape is still out there, man, and the
dude.
tape don't lie.
All right, he was drafted in like 35 or something.
Sure.
All right, check this out. Check this out. I'll run through some Don Hudson because it's still in my
Yeah,
search history.
it's the
All right,
best.
so he had 99 career touchdowns. The
Okay.
record stood for 4 decades.
Holy
So it
smokes.
didn't get broken until the mid 80s when they were just launching the ball all over the world. Uh,
Yeah.
he retired in 45 after 11 seasons. He held 18 NFL records, including 488 career receptions, which at
Jeez.
that time, again, nuts.
Yeah.
That was 200 more than anyone else.
Jeez.
Uh, let's see. He was an All-American at Alabama, and
Oh, that
then
that tells you.
he led the NFL in receiving 8 times in 11 seasons.
Oh, yeah, that's a record that is not getting broken in our lifetime.
No, he was an MVP 2 years in a row in
I don't think,
41 and 42.
and we have not seen a wide receiver MVP in our lifetime, right?
Yeah, not. I don't think so.
Yeah, unless maybe Jerry Rice did it when we were super young, maybe.
He also played on defense. He had
Oh gosh.
30. He had 30 interceptions.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now he's just otherworldly, man. Now he's
He
Travis Hunter.
he also kicked extra points.
That's crazy. Now he's also Doug Flutie.
So in a game in 1945, he caught 4 touchdown passes. He had 5 PATs. He
Yep.
had 29 points for himself.
Dang.
Um,
Dang.
yeah,
It's nuts.
yeah. He did some banana stuff that was like, what? What? Like he did what now? Like
Totally.
it. Half of what I said doesn't even make sense. Like,
No.
they said he's the number 9 player in the top 100 ever, which might still be too
Wow.
low.
Wow. I'm glad they gave him his flowers on that. Like I would be a
Yeah,
little concerned that they may have lost him to time, but nope. He is a force to be reckoned with, man. That Don Hudson is awesome. And like, man, yeah, he's a guy that he would have been so fun to play fantasy football with and like just watch his games outright. Like watching that guy play would have been just bananas.
Yeah, he's on the All-Century team,
Yep.
the 75th anniversary team, the 50th anniversary team, the
Awesome.
All-Decade team.
Yeah.
Like I said, two MVPs.
Yep.
He was a 6-time All-Pro. Like, just bananas career. Like,
Yeah.
there's literally nothing you can say about the guy. There's
Yeah.
literally a quote in here that says, "You could have double teamed and triple teamed. It did not matter."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I could totally see that being the case. To me, like he kind of almost seems like maybe like a taller Larry Fitzgerald kind of guy is kind of what I'm getting the vibe from. Fitzgerald was a guy who kind of had that breakaway speed at times too. Maybe a taller Jamar Chase kind of thing. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's interesting that in today's day and age, we just have not had a player that has that combination of size and speed and dominance. It's maybe Jerry Rice is our closest thing, but it's tough, man. It's tough.
This is the most bananas thing I can say. All right.
Yeah.
Now compare this. You can compare this to modern times. Totally fine.
Yep.
So in 42, when he won the MVP, 74 receptions. Again,
Okay.
1942.
Sure.
1,211 yards receiving,
Oh, geez.
17 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah. Devontae Adams had a season like that.
Yeah. And now, like,
Yeah.
this is 1942.
Oh, yeah. Where they wanted to run and pound and just beat you to death running the football.
Yeah. Like, who was throwing the ball 74 times just in general? This
Yeah.
dude had 74 receptions. And
Yeah.
and mind you, to make it even better, he only played 11 games.
Oh gosh. So he's doing that in less time, in less amount of games. Yeah, that's crazy. That is super
100
talented, man.
110 yards per game, literally like a touchdown and a half.
Yeah, and that's probably where that kind of comes into play where we're talking like almost like high school, college level where you're just far superior than your surrounding peers, where he's literally playing against blue collar workers. And I get that. And that's going to show to a degree.
Yeah,
But it is still crazy impressive because that's
because
where the short time frame really makes up for that because you're still doing that in a very short time frame.
and he nailed like 30 extra points a season. You know,
Why not?
like,
Why
why
not?
not?
Yeah, exactly. I want to kick a football. Okay, cool. Yeah,
And,
I guess we'll
like,
kick.
what do you say to him? Like I said, the dude played offense and defense, so it's like,
Yeah.
uh, who's gonna say no to Don Hudson?
No,
Nobody.
and
All
yeah,
right.
exactly. And he had to be one of those guys where like he looks taller than a guy like Travis Hunter too, man. Like, you know what? Like I could kind of see like he kind of reminds me of that white corner on the Baltimore Ravens. Kind of could be like that. I don't know this guy's name, but I've seen him play in the playoff games, and I'm like, that guy is a guy. He's got kind of almost like that. What's his name? He used to be a Green Bay Packer who played from Iowa. Micah Hyde. This guy
Okay.
on the Ravens, yeah, he's very much like a Micah Hyde player. I believe he might actually right now be their highest paid defensive player. I think he's up there. But that guy's got kind of a Micah Hyde kind of style. It's
Oh,
cool.
and then the last part of 1942, he also had 7 interceptions. You know, just a cool 7 interceptions.
Yeah, like to get that many interceptions in a year is pretty interesting. I mean,
When you
I am
also
excited to see how Travis Hunter works out for whatever team he goes to. I think it's going to be pretty exciting.
like to have 7 interceptions is bananas now, but then to
It's
also
enough.
add 1,200 yards and 17 touchdowns and 30 extra points is
Yes.
kind of like, what are we
Yes.
doing here?
I know. And yeah, and I love the safety that you guys got from the New York Giants who had pretty much that. I know it was what 7 or 8 that
Yeah, Xavier McKinney,
Xavier McKinney
dude,
had. I love
he
that
had a
guy.
bunch in a row. Like
Yeah, he did.
it was like
It was like
5
every
games in
game.
a row. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And you can just tell like he just kind of has that mentality where it's like a Dwayne Wade. It's like a Deion Sanders. It's like a Drew Holiday, where this guy, like when he can get in the brain of the quarterback and really figure out where they're going, track the eyes, track the head, and he just kind of comes out of that man coverage and then goes to the space where that ball is going. He gets it every time. He gets it every time. But he does need those conditions to get it, because I have seen the games where he does nothing. But if he is able to pull off those two conditions, he's going to get that interception every time, man. Like, he is otherworldly.
Right. And I give him a lot of credit. Like, he's one of those guys where, like, I don't even know how he would do it sometimes, but sometimes you just like, oh, snap. Where did he come from? Yeah, it was pretty cool to watch.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, man, like this upcoming season, I think there's going to be some cool, weird divisions, like maybe the AFC North and the NFC South, that might be a little bit of spoiler to a degree. But I think if you can get any games with the NFC North, AFC West, and NFC East, especially at the top, but maybe even the bottom, because like for a weird reason, I enjoy watching the Giants, as much of a disaster as they can be. Those three divisions to me are really fun to watch. And if we could get Joe Milton and the Dallas Cowboys, man, I'm crossing my fingers on that. I guarantee that's a plan. They were banking on Trey Lance to be that. But hey, there's nothing wrong with paying a rookie quarterback $40 million when you're not paying the rookie quarterback $40 million and you're paying someone else millions and tens of millions of dollars. Just saying.
True story.
So there we go, man. I think that's a great show for today. We got more coming up in the next few weeks, especially getting closer to the draft. Maybe we do something fun for the draft day. Maybe even do a live stream of us on while the draft is going on. Would be pretty funky, man. I'd totally be up for that, because it is the nighttime hours. So it's like, you know what, just have fun for the nighttime hours.
At least maybe the first like 10 to 15 picks, because the draft is like,
it can be stupid long. It can be stupid long. Yeah, especially if they draw out day one and day one, especially night two is kind of better. Day three is like we can't
bananas.
Do that. That's just bananas. That's just
that's a whole day.
That's a whole day. That's too much. But yeah, definitely something with the first night or so could be really cool. So we'll kick that around for next week, actually. So we'll do a show on the weekend, and then we'll do that going into the prime time of the week.
Nice.
So there we go. Hey, sounds good. I'm Steve Metrics. That's your boy,
DJ Triggs.
and that's No Debate.